The family and I love to do Christmas lights every year, and this year I wanted to go a little bit different route. I've been seeing a lot of options out there for permanent holiday lights or Christmas lights you could use year round for different holidays, so I decided I want to give that a try this year. I went with a company called ColorBit lights. Now, ColorBit does a permanent pixel light, and I bought the tracks that I used for my soffits separately. And before we really get into the video, I wanted to address that this video is not sponsored. All of the materials used in this video are paid for out of pocket. So I wanted to kind of show you how I installed these lights, the process of determining how to get the correct amount of pixels for your roof line, and then also my overall thoughts on how they look while they're illuminated at night, but then also during the day, since they're permanent, they're on your house 365 days a year, how they look during the day. So while I'm unboxing this, I ordered the 90-foot kit from ColorBit. This comes with 3 30-foot light strings. It also comes with 2 power supplies. It comes with the controller and also some heat shrink, because this is going to be on your roof all year long. You definitely want to seal those connections because you don't want the moisture or any of the elements from the outdoors to corrode your connections. Now, the way I determined how much I would need in this installation, I just used Google Maps to measure the linear footage of the front of my house to give me a rough idea. You can also use a measuring wheel if you want to be a little bit more accurate. But in this case, I just used Google Maps and it worked out well for me. So upon unboxing everything, these power supplies are very small and compact. I can fit them right up underneath the channel tracks on the roof. And then also the controller is very small as well. I didn't want something that was going to be big and cumbersome in the garage that I had to plug all of my light strings into. This runs directly through your phone on an app, which is the reason why I wanted it, for simplicity. And then for the channel tracks, I did some research into the different types of tracks that are available. These are made by TBL. They're more affordable than a lot of options I've seen online, and they come pre-drilled with 12mm holes at 3 3/4 inch spacing. These are also 6-foot tracks. So this would be perfect for my type of installation where I want to install these and get the full 90-foot length, but then also you want to make sure before putting them up on the house that you're putting the correct connection type at the beginning of your run. So I'm just testing the power supply and the controller here on the very beginning of the first 30-foot run to make sure I don't install it in the reverse order. Before we actually start installing the tracks, you're going to need a couple of tools in order to actually do this. You're going to need a 12-volt drill or some way to actually get the fasteners into the soffits up on the roof. I just use a 12-volt Milwaukee drill for this, and I use some self-tapping screws I picked up from my local hardware store. So once you get your pixels laid out and you start installing them inside the track, these are 3 3/4 inch spacing. This is the maximum that the pixel bullets will allow. So you definitely don't want to drill any longer than 3 3/4 inch in between. When all of the pixels are installed in the track, it looks something like this. Now, I'm going to have to do this quite a bit. As you can see, we're going to be installing these in the bottom of the soffit, fastening, and then moving on to the next 6-foot run. If you have a soffit that is not vented or it's not closed off, you can definitely do this with some J-channel from a local hardware store and save yourself a lot of money. And this definitely would have been easier with 2 people. Unfortunately, I didn't have the luxury of having a helper in this situation, so I just held the tracks up with one hand and screwed them into the soffits with the other. These aluminum tracks are very light, and also the pixel lights themselves are also very light. One strand only weighs about 2 pounds, so it really wasn't that difficult to hold these up and screw them in and make sure that they were nice and neat. So essentially, I would just measure to each corner, and then I would make my 45-degree cuts. And as I would move along to each 6-foot track, I would just pop the bullet pixels right into the 12mm holes, and then go ahead and fasten those to the bottoms of the soffits. And I continued this process all the way across the 90 linear feet that I have here on the front of my house. The reason I had the lights on during this installation is because I wanted to make sure that the strands worked as I plugged them in. There is a setting that you will have to fix if you are running more than one consecutive light string in the app that you use to program your ColorBit and also change the patterns. You will need to change to either 200 or 300 pixels inside of the app settings if you're using more than one strand. So the installation here is pretty straightforward. You just continue to fasten your tracks all the way across the roof line, and then once you've got them fully installed, you essentially just need to wait until dark to see what they look like. And this is just a classic Christmas pattern that I'm using with some chasing red and white lights that I think look really good. And even at night, you can't see these channels up underneath the soffits, and it looks like a super clean install all the way from one roof line to the next. I'm really happy with the way that these turned out and the overall brightness. You don't have to use these for Christmas. You can use them for your favorite sports team or any event that you want to celebrate throughout the year. You can change these into any color patterns that you want to. If you're wanting to do any specific customized pattern, you can also do that through the JavaScript, through the app. Or if you're just feeling patriotic and you want to do a red, white, and blue chasing sequence like this one, you can also do that as well. I'm running these lights at 75% brightness. I think this is a really good setting. Even if you're going to do a stationary pattern like this where the lights aren't chasing, just a classic Christmas pattern where the lights are just illuminated and you want to do a warm white and a warm red, you can certainly do that as well. But if you want to do something cool like a color chasing pattern, or you want to have these color blocks that kind of illuminate and blend together, that's also an option for you. You can also just keep it stationary with the classic multicolored Christmas lights, which I think looks really good with the ColorBits. Or you can have them flash and kind of blink and do all kinds of crazy things inside the app. So it's pretty much up to you and what you want to do, but there's a lot of customization that's available, and I think they look really good compared to just standard Christmas lights.
Overall, I can say that this project definitely was a success. I'm really happy with the results and the way that the lights look on the house, especially at night, but also during the day, and that they're really not visible. And if you don't know that they're there, you probably won't notice them really until you walk right up to the house and you look up. So all in, if you wanted to get a starter kit for a typical size home, this project would probably cost you somewhere in the ballpark of $500 to get started, when in the grand scheme of things, the lights last you between 5 and 10 years, and you don't spend as much time putting Christmas lights up year after year, and you can reuse them for several holidays, birthdays, or whatever type of event that you want to do. I think the return on your investment is actually pretty good, all things considered, even if your cost to buy in is somewhere in the $500 range. So please leave your feedback in the comments below. I enjoyed doing this video for you guys. Thank you for ColorBit for the help during the installation. They're very responsive during the process. If you need help or have questions, don't forget to give me a like on this video. Please subscribe to the channel, and I'll catch you in the next one.